Barbara Smith, or B. Smith as she is known, one of the first African-American models, a lifestyle celebrity expert, and also restaurateur. She was once considered the Black Martha Stewart. Late last year, though, it has been revealed that she's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, but she's vowing to fight it. Hello, everyone. I'm Ty Hernandez in New York. Here was B. Smith speaking before the Senate Special Committee on Aging earlier today.
It's been a tough time for me because I do have early onset Alzheimer's disease. And I'm here because I want to make, though, a difference. I'm here because I don't want anybody else to have to go through this. I'm here to ask you to make a difference, not just for the 5 million Americans who have Alzheimer's and their caregivers, but for the future generations who will face that.
While 5 million individuals across the U.S. are suffering now, the numbers of Alzheimer's disease are expected to explode in the future. By 2050, it may almost triple to 13.8 million. Joining us now is Dr. Richard Mayud, co-director of the Taub Institute for Alzheimer's Research at Columbia University. Good afternoon, Doctor. B. Smith, just 65 years old. She has what is considered early onset Alzheimer's, and there is no cure. Is there a treatment?
Well, the treatment for early onset Alzheimer's disease is the same as it is for late onset disease. And as you know, the current treatments have a modest effect at best. They don't really attack the biology of the disease. They seem to treat some of the symptoms. They can improve memory to some degree, but they're not, no one in our field believes these are definitive treatments.
How close are we to a cure?
Do what?
How close are we to a cure? What is the goal in terms of research, and are we expected to make it?
Well, there is an ample amount of research going on to try to identify treatments and cures. But you have to understand that I think what we've learned in the past decade is that Alzheimer's disease is a lot more complex than we imagined. For example, about a third of patients with Alzheimer's disease have vascular disease of the brain. The brain is has a very rich vascular network, and there are small strokes, there are vascular pathology throughout the brains, even in people with Alzheimer's disease. Another third have a condition that's called Lewy bodies, which is a different type of protein inclusion in the brains. So we don't know whether those different pathologies account for the fact that it's been so frustrating to try new drugs for this condition. Nevertheless, there are trials underway that are designed to eliminate amyloid deposition, or at least reduce it, as a means to treat the condition. If those are successful, then things are looking very, very up, because there are very good drugs to treat the disease, and they may even be able to prevent the disease if we can identify who's at risk.
Now, doctor, you reach a certain age, you start forgetting a few things, and some of us do worry, hey, is this something more serious? How can you tell the difference between age-related forgetfulness and Alzheimer's disease?
Well, that's been a debate for many years. I always tell everybody that if I forget where my glasses are, that doesn't mean anything. But if I forget that I'm supposed to be at an appointment, and this is a repeated behavior, then I start to worry. People, everybody's a little bit forgetful. We get distracted, we get depressed. We have maybe a glass of wine or something. We can't, keep all our facts straight, or we don't remember the name of someone or the name of a movie star in a movie. That is an Alzheimer's disease. What Alzheimer's disease is a continuous, a consistent loss of short-term memory. Repeating the same question, asking your spouse where we're supposed to have dinner, even though she just told you 5 minutes ago. And that's the initial set of symptoms. And then it goes on to include other cognitive behaviors, such as, doing simple math and trying to express oneself in a clear manner. So these kinds of additional symptoms can occur as the disease progresses.
When we hear statistics like the cases are expected to triple in just a number of decades, is that simply because we have baby boomers aging into the typical age of the disease, or is it just growing in the general population?
Well, I think you hit on the right point. The number of people, the most rapid growing part of our society right now are people, over 65. In fact, people over 80 are probably the most rapidly growing part of our society. And that's just about in every part of the developed world where the number of people in the older age groups are increasing. Now, that puts them into the risk age. The amount of people that then will have the disease will invariably increase unless we do something about it. So it is possible that within 10 years or so, that we'll have double the number of patients we have now. Some estimates are even higher. This is also true for the developing world, where because life expectancy is increasing, countries that used to be worried about living into their 60s are now doing so, and they also are faced with an increasing aged population, which will be similarly at risk for Alzheimer's disease.
Finally, doctor, I want to ask you about B. Smith, such an intelligent and accomplished woman. Really heartbreaking to hear what she's been going through with this disease. What hope does she have at this stage? Is there hope for her or people suffering from this disease today that in their lifetime they will get some relief?
Well, I can't address, her specifically. I don't know all the details, but what I can say is that there's an amazing amount of effort underway, sponsored by the National Institute of Health. There's a sense of collaboration and cooperation amongst scientists that in my career, which now spans almost 30 years, I've never seen before. We all have this sense of urgency that we need to do something, we need to do it quickly. And so I'm hopeful that we will be able to crack this disease, or at least make a dent in it, sometime over the next few years. That said, I think that our Congress really needs to invest heavily in helping us solve this problem. That doesn't mean taking away money from other important health problems, but the NIH has always been the leader for biomedical research in the world. And this is not a time to cut back on funding and support for biomedical research. We have to crack this problem. The world is looking for us to do that.
All right, Dr. Mayer, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, this is a disease that affects many generations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You can keep up with this story in real time by downloading the ABC News app and starring this story for exclusive updates on the go. I'm Ty Hernandez in New York.